Hey friends, this is Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. I just had an epiphany. I know I've been like saying all these rants and stuff over the last few years, but I just had a real epiphany. I watched this video called, I think it was called Mountain People or Mountain Folk. And it was like in the late 60s, early 70s. And people, you know, raised their own food and all that stuff. And they just didn't know any other way of life. And they were saying, you know, kids today, they want radios and TVs and all that stuff. And
they can have the record player on, the television player on, and him blowing that old horn, and me in the kitchen just a padding around. It don't bother me a bit. Well, I turn it off. If I don't want to listen to anything, I just don't listen.
So it wasn't like in the 60s, 70s. But I thought, geez, you know, if we didn't have any debt, like no mortgage or anything like that because we lived really simply, how we could almost not have to work except what we would do to feed ourselves and maybe come up with the property taxes every year.
When you string them up like this, the air circulates through them and they dry. When they're completely dry, this string won't be over that long. But after you put them back in water to cook them, they swell up and be their natural size again. And the only thing you can do on a farm is just barely make a living. We're not in a farming community where they use machinery and things. It's all just a whole. The younger people do, they like this easy living. And like I said, I can't blame them for it.
But if we gotta have stuff, then we gotta have it now, then we go in debt to have the stuff, and the more debt we have, the more we gotta work, and the more we work, the more the government gets the money, and pharmaceuticals are keeping us sick and selling us cures, because, well, we think they're selling us cures, but they're not. They're just making loyal customers, okay? Because the food industry or the food-like product industry is making us sick. Pharmaceutical companies are supposedly making us better by pumping more chemicals into us. So the government wants us hardworking and sick and dying young. Because, huh?
And in debt.
And in debt. Because it's big business.
Almost 57 years. I was 73 in December. Now, as long as I'm able to work, I'm going to work right on. I raised practically everything we eat. Well, I farm and raise chickens and pigs and ponies and cats and dogs.
I've always been a hillbilly. You know, they call the mountain people hillbillies. I like the hillbilly life. We've been married 60 years, 61 years. We never did live in the city.
Freeze my own corn and I have pickled corn and pickled beans and make my own jellies and jams. I've kept house now 57 years. You're out in the country, you can just go ahead and do what you want to do. Well, this here's crab. This is preserve. And that's sweet pickles. And these is all berries. This is all sweet pickles. And these are beans. These are beets. Kraut. That there's tomato kraut. There's raspberries. These are blackberries. These are peaches and pears. This is tomatoes. That's about it. Apples. And there's apples.
I think it's the best life in the world.
They're not going to make any money off of somebody who lives in the hills and grubs in the garden and milks their goats every day and sells a few furs or vegetables to pay their property taxes. There's no money in that. Not for them. Wow. the simpler your life, and the healthier.
Most of these people here are all old people. I counted 41 or 42 old people over 60 years old. And just in a community like this, that's a lot of old people.
She's my mother. She's here me. If she wasn't here, she'd probably have to be in an old home.
I stay here where I'm acquainted with everybody around and here at my old home place.
The young people have to take care of the old people.
Sure they do. I just couldn't imagine myself sitting in an apartment just looking at them in there.
The old people's all dead out, and the young people, they don't take no interest in doing nothing.
This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, don't wait until you're 50 to go back to a simpler, healthier way of life.
I hope my feet are clean enough to walk upon the golden streets of gold.
It takes time to make it quick. Yeah, they used to farm and work together, but they don't anymore. It's just everything's changing. The world's changing every way. Yeah, the family was together and we all enjoyed life together, but no family here to be with me. I'm by myself.
They feel like that you're a have-been. The old people have done a lot in making America what it is today.